Hello, and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager 6 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and not pictured on your screen, is FHL producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey everybody, you're sure you're Adam? You kind of hesitated the first time you tried that.
No, it's because I messed something else up earlier. Anyways, we're
Okay.
back. We're back to the SPHL, and you're making me crazy, Jeff, because I love that stream name. We are back with the Macon Mayhem. It is 2019, November to be specific. And Jeff, we've been doing terrible. What's going on?
Yeah, we decided to try playing in the low minors. Just I don't think we've never done that before, and gave the Macon Mayhem of the Southern Professional League a shot. And we're not doing too well with it. You can see right there the league standings, ninth out of 10 teams, and we're just barely hanging out of last place by 1 point. The odd thing is, I mean, if I look on the ranking, the sort of paper rankings, if it looks at the actual quality of the players, we should be in the middle of the pack. And we've got one of the better players in the league, although he's been injured a little bit, Trask, our starting center. But I
And we
think
beefed up our staff, too.
yeah, we added staff. We and did sign a couple of free agents. I think that's the only go-to I've got right now is grabbing a couple more free agents and seeing if we can improve our depth a little bit.
Now, the one thing about grabbing free agents, as we talked about last time, is because we are playing in such a low league, not everybody wants to come play.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, well, if I just look at, before I go open the filter, the free agent screen I've got right now, I'm pretty sure that, Ryan Boyle or Troy Brower aren't going to come play for us. So not going to waste time even looking at that. What I will do is crank the limit down to 3 stars, and a bit of a drop off there in there.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so former Vancouver Canuck Billy Sweat.
Actually, you need to let go somebody too, because the other thing about the SPHL is you're only allowed to have 23 players on your roster. Oh, sorry, that's not. Is that right?
23 players contracted. You're right. You're
Yes.
sort of right.
Yeah. So that means we've probably got to cut somebody.
Yeah, we've got one guy, and I think the logical candidate is probably Seamer, the left wing, was apparently a pretty good player for him last year, but he's 1 star now. There is a half-star defenseman that may get it too if we decide to sign a defenseman, but I think we're going to have to let this guy go, so we'll drop him out. And you can see all the contracts in this league are single year, so we're going to have a fun time rebuilding this in the off season. That's going to be, we've never really had to do that before completely.
That's assuming we make it to
don't get fired. Good point.
Or who knows? Maybe you'll get a good job offer and move up a league, which wouldn't be bad for us to do.
Okay, so another former NHLer, Matt Gilroy, Benoit Pouliot. Okay, I'm going to try signing Sweat first, just to see if he'll even talk to us. Nope, not interested.
And for the record, it'd be kind of cool to go to the FHL after this, and then make our way to the ECHL.
I mean, SPHL and FHL are kind of on the same level. And then you'd hope we could get an ECHL job after this. I'm not getting anything from the 3.5-star guy, so I'm going to have to drop down to who's Jordan Pietrus. Looks like he's kicked around to ECHL a little bit, went over to Europe, played in England, had a couple of good seasons in England and Denmark last year, and looks like he started the season with Columbus of the Federal League, and then they dumped him, so he's looking for a job. So let's see if he's interested, and no, he's not. So apparently he isn't quite desperate enough to drop down to this level. So there's one 2-star guy after that. Center, another Federal League cut, Blake Tatchell. I'd like another right wing, but I don't really see.
We can train someone to be right wing.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to, because the best guy after Pietrus is a half-star. Almost tempted to wait a little bit and hope, look for guys that get knocked off of other rosters. Then again, other teams will have injuries, so I don't think we're going to be getting too many players that way. Okay.
Now, the one thing, too, about playing in the SPHL is there are teams that are affiliates, right?
Yeah, a
is there no
couple of
penalties?
we're one of the ones who aren't. A couple of them are affiliated to. I think it's mainly it's ECHL teams, so they'll have some players moving down. Uh, Incidentally, I'm gonna have to go down to. Wow, there's just no wingers at all here. Yeah, great. Seamer, the guy we just released, is one of the best players available to sign. I'm going to
Awesome.
try Dylan Williamson, who played Junior A in Alberta last year. There we go. He wants the minimum amount. So we'll get him, and I think we'll... Don't think I'm going to play around with... I set the tactics last time. Try bringing in a new player first and then shuffle lines if that doesn't work. Did we show up on Steam yet, Adam?
I'm still watching, and the answer I have is not yet. At least not on our broadcast on Franchise Hockey Manager 6, which is what I'm refreshing.
Yeah, but I'm trying it on the main Steam broadcast lists, and it's not coming up there, so I'm just going to assume that didn't work, and I'll have to look at it next time, but I'm going to kill the Steam stream just on the theory that it'll probably make the Twitch one a little better quality.
Well, people are saying it's looking pretty good right now, Jeff, so...
I mean, if nothing else, it gives us, I don't think it'll, it lets me know if it's going to work, if the bandwidth situation will work. I'll just leave it as it is then. I think they said 10 minutes for it to show up on the store page, so try that.
Well, I'm still watching.
Anywho, okay, Williamson signed. He wants a number that somebody already has. So we're going to give him 17 instead of 7, and he's not too happy about that, but dude, come on.
Come on.
And he looks like a possible only 12 at right wing right now. Who have we got playing the right side? Oh, Talian, one of the centers, is over there, and he's ready to flip over to right wing soon. In fact, I can probably just do that because he's almost there already. Might want to bump Wegleitner up at some point. But we'll just give the new guy a little while to get back up into shape. See, I'm getting drop frames warnings now. And just usual reminder, you can see that I've got those extra numbers in the news messages. That's just because I'm running this in debug mode right now. This isn't actually a different build from the one you got right now, but I've just left it in that out of habit.
What?
And Sanders, defenseman, is back. Who did we put in for him? I think it wasn't done. Was it Hunter? Oh, it was Coop. We're going to try to get him to the... get him to be a little better at left defense. Who's on our fourth line now? Cameron, Ronsberg, Cesars, and Hatcher. Okay, what I'm going to do is put Williamson in for Hatcher. He'll be the... spare forward, basically.
Gudu says, not Gudu, Got a Splash in the chat says he would like to see FHM add the Canada Russia series. That's currently ongoing.
The junior one?
Yes.
Yeah, I've wanted to do that for a while, and I just remember what a nightmare it was implementing that when I was working on EHM. They always it would go in and then it would be broken within the next time we ever changed anything. So I'm kind of hesitant to go back to it, but yeah, we probably should add that at some point rather than prospects game would be nice to have too.
So let's put it this way. It's on the list of things we'd like to do.
Yeah. The one issue I can see with doing it is going to be may mess with the if you're playing in one of the Russian leagues. It's going to be taking players off of your roster, some of your younger guys, which may not be a fun thing because they've got some rules on how many prospects you have to play. So if that guy gets taken away from you, that could be kind of annoying from that perspective. Okay, got Birmingham. We had Birmingham. We played I don't know how many times during the preseason. It was a bunch, but we got them for real tonight. Oh, and just to the way the schedule for this league works, you can see how it's pretty much all weekend games. So we tend to have these little gaps. So there's a couple at the that was a preseason. We occasionally get the Tuesday night or Sunday night, but it's almost all Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Birmingham, I'm just going to sim these.
What?
And an 8-6 loss.
That's unfortunate.
Well, we're scoring at least, but what went wrong here? Well, look at all this. Yeah, that's if you haven't seen the game recently, we've color-coded some of the game ratings, among other things, and a few things on the roster screen. Nobody really, the glaring one is Sulamitis, 42 defensive rating, but nobody had a particularly terrible game. Wegleitner finally got going, got a couple of goals. Is that just a bad game in goal from shot? Wow, 19 game rating. That's going to be near the the top of the bad game list.
That's impressively bad, to be honest.
I'm betting it's number one right now. And the other thing with that funny schedule with packing games into weekends, we'll tend to get one game a week where everybody is not fatigued and in good shape, and then the second one will be, although it doesn't look like that's the case this week, the second one will be everybody's tired on the second day of a back-to-back, and we've now dropped down into last place, although we've got a game in hand there.
Well, luckily we'll have the first draft pick. Oh, wait a second.
Oh yeah, there isn't one. It's the other thing with building a minor league team. No draft to rebuild with. You just get who you can get. That's why I'm probably going to be looking at the free agent list a little more often than I normally would in a typical game, just to see if somebody is dropped onto it, somebody gets cut from a higher level team and can help us. It's worth a shot, and hopefully as we get a little deeper into the season, we'll get guys a little more desperate and willing to sign with us.
It's nice you're assuming we don't get fired by then.
Miles Bell, I think that guy, yeah, Kelowna Rockets, I remember him. Just signed, was playing senior hockey in Western Canada, signed with Quad Cities. So another team gets stronger while we...
Is this the league Brad Treliving founded? Ash from Tuke.
Don't remember.
I don't think it is, but I could be wrong. Yeah, he was with the CHL. Co-founded the Western Professional Hockey League.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a different league. They were the SPHL is sort of the survivor out of those two leagues. I think they got some of the WPHL teams.
Well, that was the Central too. Was in there.
Okay, gonna see if we can bounce back after that embarrassing sixth. Now and we lose 6-2 this time, even worse. Okay, we have a problem here.
That we can't stop losing.
Yeah, that would be it. I'm going to cut that half-star defenseman, see if I can sign anybody better, but going to make some manual changes to the lines too, because this maybe dump all of our good players onto the first line. Going to be a little, yeah, Wegleitner. It's a little unbalanced. Crank their ice time up. Caesars is 1.5 stars. And so Sulamidas, the guy who had the terrible game, what's he doing? Oh, he's 2 stars. That's why he's arguably better than anybody else. Oh, that's interesting. Sanders, the defenseman, can play wing too.
All right.
But the guy I'm going to let go is Coop or Cup, however you say it. And find us a defenseman.
Okay, Neely with a question in the chat. If you're playing in leagues like the SPHL and looking to move up as a GM, how often are the offers made? Is there a specific time of year, or is it all random?
Depends on when somebody gets fired. There'll be a little burst of them in the off season because teams tend to fire around the same period then. But anytime during the course of the season somebody gets fired, the job opens up and you may get an offer. Gonna try Butel. Looks like a defensive defenseman, played in college hockey for Maine last year, who is not interested. Troy Murray, probably not that Troy Murray, who's been out of hockey for a year. Not him. Ryan Pulio, I think Derek's brother.
Could be.
Played a little bit in the dub last year. Okay, he wants a contract. Won't play tonight, but we'll see if that line change helped. Against Evansville. And hey, we pull out a 4-3 win.
A win? That's crazy. So I've looked, and there is, as far as I can tell with a quick look, nobody from the everyone who was in the WHL or WPHL who survived joined the CHL, and everyone who's in the CHL seemingly either disbanded or ended up in the ECHL by some quirk. I'm not seeing any names pop up that
probably wants Dunn's number. Can't have that, but we'll give him 16.
Still nothing on Steam, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's I've done something wrong there. It's probably just streaming to a server that isn't functional or whatever. But as long as the outgoing bandwidth is there and it's still working fine on Twitch, well, the experiment sort of worked. Halfway there, we'll try it again in a couple of weeks. And despite the win, we're still dead last in the league.
Of course.
But we're going to turn it around soon, right? Right?
No, not at all. Sorry, Jeff.
Well, we got an injury. Oh, somebody's got the flu. You're going out because of the flu. Right, third line winger was Cesares, so he goes out. Hatcher goes in for him, then Pirog goes for...
Which one of the Hatcher brothers?
It's apparently Chase Hatcher, the obscure one. Oh, he's actually Darian Hatcher's son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't realize that.
Well, there you go. The joke succeeded.
And we lose 4-2 to Pensacola. I think I got to try the other goalie at some point, too. We've been starting the guy with the higher potential, and he hasn't been doing anything. In fact, I'm guessing his numbers look a little scary. 48 goals against in 12 games. Wow. may get our center back in time for this. Oh, another game against Pensacola. Not quite healthy enough to play yet. Oh no, and Wegleitner are... He's actually... Okay, Pirog is going to have to play. As Wegleitner went and got himself hurt.
Lovely.
Wait, I could have sworn... Wasn't Hatcher's kid 1-star like at the start of this? He's up to 2 already?
I'm not sure.
That's... Oh, okay, maybe he's developing. Okay, let's give him a shot then.
Let me look here. Hutcher. Sorry, what was the first name?
Chase. And we win 4-3 in overtime with the backup goalie in.
He is 1-star at the beginning of the game.
So he suddenly jumped up to 2 stars. I don't know if that's the stats system kicking in and doing something for him there, or he's actually developing, but yeah, it's a Roanoke Rail Yard dogs. And Notuk seems kind of a little unwieldy. We're back tied for last place.
It would have been a lot harder coming up with alliteration for that.
And where is the playoff? Yeah, it's the top 8 that make the playoffs, so we can still fight our way back into this.
So what we're saying is we're only 2 games out of being in the playoffs.
I think we're farther back now, aren't we?
Or two teams.
Yeah.
2 teams.
Okay, yeah, here we go. What's Hatcher now? Not seeing any development report on him. Oh, we got somebody sitting on the... Oops, I didn't need to release all those guys. We got one guy...
Gudu, is his first name Jeff? He says going to the actual Macon website, their GM is in their first year.
All right. I'm going to swap our new defenseman in.
Close to Jeff is Blair Floyd, he says.
It's not that close.
Blair, Jeff Blair.
Yeah,
Sportsnet
okay.
broadcaster.
Yeah, Roanoke Express in the SPHL. I think that, see, that sort of Express is a decent name. Rail Yard Dogs is just a little odd.
Well, is it...
It's not dogs, it's dogs.
Would you rather have the Roanoke Valley Rebels back?
All right, the classic logo.
I will constantly bring that up because it still cracks me up.
With the Confederate flag and a maple leaf for some reason. Okay, so Hatcher goes for Wegleitner, but I think I gotta start playing Hatcher because it looks like he's improved.
Gudu, was that an actual team name? He says Roanoke Runaways.
Don't remember that one if it was.
Because if it was, that just sounds like a team name that's actually leading to a disaster. Like literally, just the headlines: Roanoke Runaways off the rails. Roanoke Runaways disappear from the playoff race. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. Neely says, "Yep, I remember seeing the Roanoke Valley Rebels play," showing his age.
We got anybody in the scoring leaders here? I don't see anything. Wegleitner is almost back, and Dunn apparently gets hurt. Swap Love in for him. Go with the backup Finn again. See if he hasn't heated up any, but. And we got a hot goalie in Evansville, but we come out with a 5-3 win. And Trask has 5 points.
Fantastic.
So kind of carrying us there. Looked like Pulio, the new defenseman, had a fight. And here's one of these back-to-backs where everybody's going to be tired on the second night.
Good old minor league hockey. Of course, we rode the bus there too, I'm guessing.
Of course. Okay. Gonna have to let Child start. He's a little healthier. Everybody else actually is in reasonable shape. And he loses again. The although we got outshot 45-23. Can't really hang this one on him.
Maybe it's time to find a new goalie.
Yeah, the problem is there weren't any better ones out there, and this guy's got, well, 5-star potential relative to the Southern League. Although we did climb out of last place, at least with that win. We've got a couple of games in hand over the last place one, so fortunately Huntsville's around. That keeps us from looking completely terrible. That 5-point game got Trask into the top 10 or top 8 for points.
Good.
And yeah, the other team's bringing in guy. Wow, Peoria found a 2.5-star guy. Oh, I'm a stupid. I can find better players. I know how. I didn't even think of this. Let me just.
You were searching not by ability?
No, I was searching by free agents only, but we can sign players out of lower level leagues. Dumb. Okay, I'm going to dump this guy we've got sitting off the roster right now.
On the bench. Oh, so you're going to go look for amateurs or semi-professionals.
What I'm going to do is open up the player search screen, get rid of real players, and use the signable button and knock it down to, let's not get too greedy.
Get rid of real players?
Retired players.
You said real players.
I meant retired. Oh, there we go. 39-year-old Jason Williams, former Red Wing.
It's a name I haven't heard for a few years.
Who isn't interested in signing with us. I guess he's happy in sort of semi-retirement playing senior hockey.
Fair enough.
Take it down to, I'm only getting 2.5 stars anyhow. Stefan Guy, former Brandon Wheat King, who will sign with us. 2.5 stars. Wait, do I really want another? Did I need left wings more than that? I'll take them. And just out of curiosity, what's he been up to? Hasn't played in quite a while, playing senior hockey. And yeah, because we don't have historical stats for senior leagues. He's probably playing in that league in Ontario.
Wow, that
really
narrows it down.
No, there's a high level. There's one high level, or I think there's only one high level on senior league in Ontario. But yeah, basically he hasn't really played minor leagues since 2016. So trying to come back, and he drops down to 2 stars as soon as we get him naturally.
Of course.
Okay, let's take Cameron out of the lineup, dress him. Okay, the AI wants to put him on the first line. Wegleitner has picked up a little bit, but I don't know if we want him on the first line. Looks like we got a our guys tend to be a little more physical. I think we've got, yeah, well, intense aggressiveness. That actually looks fine. Cut back on the attacking a little bit because I don't trust that goalie, and we'll go with that.
Fair enough.
I remember Scott Groh. I think he had, what, one game with the Kings in his entire career and played like 20 years in the IHL.
You know, there's a lot of good minor league guys who just can never take that next step.
Yeah, it's easier now with the NHL having expanded so much, but yeah, you go back and there's
still a lot of guys who just could never take that next step.
Yeah, they're just not fast enough. It's usually the speed that gets them. And a 6-3 loss with the new look lineup, and same goalie in. So I think our,
You know who's a name who I will always remember for being kind of a good minor leaguer, but can never take that next step, except for he had one good playoffs.
is that
Lonnie Bahanas.
Canuck legend?
I was thinking Leafs, to be honest.
Yeah, he started with the Canucks. He was an okay prospect for a couple of years, and
He had a big playoff with the Leafs and then just kind of disappeared. Lots of guys, you know, you think you kind of might take that next step, but never do.
okay, back up in again. Is he gonna? I gotta look at the goalie stats after this game and just see how much of a difference there is between. See when we win 6-3 with the backup in.
Sweet.
So what do their stats look like for the season? The two goalies. Yeah, look at that Child, the starter, who supposedly got much more potential. He's only 14 points behind on save percentage, but the goals against average is through the roof, and the backup is actually 3-1-1. I think that's only the games he started, and came into one for the other guy. So I think the backup is now the starter, even though his
14
lower.
points. 14 points is a lot of points. I mean, that's 899 to 913.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Even going 893 to 907.
And Timofeyev, one of our wingers, finally broke into the top 8 in assists, so we got two guys up there now.
Huzzah! It's only a matter of time.
I mean, we're only 4 points out of a playoff spot despite the terrible start, so we can still turn this around. Oh, that's funny. The streak thing isn't updating properly in the. Is it on the regular stand? Yeah, it's. Looks like it's okay on the standing screen, but not on the autoplay one. Have to fix that. Okay, the backup loses this time, though. We got outshot again, although it's to Roanoke, who's one of the better teams in the league.
It's going to happen.
Well, Pirog's almost healthy, but not quite yet. Oh, Love goes back out for Dunn. I forgot to do that when he got healthy. I'm take a quick look at our stats just to see if there's anybody really underperforming. Timofeyev, okay, he's doing okay with his first line time. Trask way out in front. Wegleitner's picked it up now. Oh, that's surprising. Minerva, probably the worst regular defenseman, is actually leading, well, tied for the defenseman lead in scoring. Sulmatus, who's our other first liner, doing okay, I guess. Lagine, 3 points in his first 3 games. And we squeezed out a 5-4 win and put 43 shots up on Birmingham.
All right.
A little better, a little better. And we're into our few games off here, so should get our injured center back. We're winning, but we're winning a few more, but just not closing that gap that much between the... Well, it's out of 2 points. I guess that's not true. Okay, Pirog is ready to go back in. So is that... I put in, yeah, Cesar's for him. And I'm going to swap Talian out on the 4th line for Cesar's. Yeah. Williamson, the guy we signed, not doing too much at all. I think he was only 1 star to begin with, so maybe he's progressed a bit. Oh, that's a little worrying. I didn't just notice we've played 15 of our first 19 games at home, so we had a bunch of huge homestands in there, and it's going to get tougher now. Both goalies heating up a little bit at least. Pensacola, and we beat them 4-2 on the road. Wow, great game from the backup goalie. 51 shots on him and 49 saves. And into a tie for the last playoff spot, although they've got 1 game in hand there. Oops, no, want the regular starter in. You can see the fitness has dropped off for a couple of guys, although they're not too bad. It's Birmingham, and we take a 6-2 loss. That's a tough one. Got outshot badly again. Wait, did you read Tuke's comment in the chat? The actual coach of the Macon Mayhem was in the Love Guru. Is that really something you'd want to brag about?
I would think so, yes. No, I'm still here. It's just, I'm trying to think of what to say, Gudu. It's not always easy, as Jeff's kind of working his way through. The lead stunt double.
Hey, well, we
That's
actually
not
won a
exactly-
low-scoring game. 2-1 over Huntsville. So that was 3 games and 3 nights, I think. So we came out of that with 4 points. And we're almost into 2020. Problem is, the 8th place team keeps winning too, so we're not any closer. And I will check the free agents list, I think, right after, as soon as we hit January, just on the off chance that anybody makes any mid-season moves, releases a guy. There's one other thing I can look for too. Although that'll be a while before that happens. Now one of the changes we made this year is the college players will be able. You'll be able to. You can sign them now after the college season ends, approximately in April, instead of having to wait until they become free agents on July the 1st. So we got a defenseman, yeah, a few new names in here, but I don't think we really want North American League cast-offs.
Probably not.
And our first shutout of the year. 3-0 over Knoxville. Does that finally get us into 8th place? No. Well, ties us at least. But, I mean, you can see how close it is. There's only 4 points between 9th and 4th, so one little winning streak and we'll be up there. And I think you can call him the starter now. Finn is climbing up on the goalie leaders too.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Another little bit of development. Nothing from the real. Okay, well, Wegleitner got another point. I kind of suspect we're going to lose him to the ECHL next year. Yeah, that's Trask is in the top 10 for scoring and assists. He jumped up there after he had that 5-point game. Board confidence update. How happy is the owner? He thinks the season is a complete failure so far. Better check the job security screen then. Oh, okay, that's not bad. The fans are at least reasonably happy with us. Chemistry is okay-ish. And our job security is still in the green, so I don't think we have to panic about that yet. But yeah, we definitely need to turn it around. New nationalities now doesn't affect us at all. And we got a game tomorrow against Pensacola. Where they're 3rd overall. That might be a little tough. And Finn is heating up a little bit more. And narrow 3-2 loss. We got outshot pretty badly again, but Finn kept us in there. Disappointing, but I think we can bounce back. They're a good team. Oh, we've got them again the next night. That's okay. I'd like to steal, at least get them into overtime or something here. But we're going to have to start the other goalie tonight, I think. Great. Somebody got hurt. Now just Ronsberg. Ronsberg in for Cesars, or Cesars in for Ronsberg rather, and Tollian gets back into the lineup. Anybody else? Don't see. Well, I think some the defensemen are looking better. It's still like one of the goalies to get another point there, just so we can get a little more clear cut on who's better rather.
Well, it's relative.
Okay, with the other goalie in, how do we do? We lose 3-1 instead of 3-2. And virtually identical to the previous game. I think at least the job is secure enough that we're going to be okay, and we won't get fired in the off season, which will give us a chance to rebuild this more or less from the ground up, because everybody's contract expires this year. I'll see if I can renew a couple of them. But I think come July 1st, we just grab whoever's out there and hopefully do a lot better than what we've got at the moment, other than maybe a few guys we want to keep and continue to develop. Start gradually making contract renewal attempts now, I think. Obviously, Trask. And see, yeah, there's a problem. Our best player doesn't want to resign. So at least Dunn, our high potential defenseman, wants to play here for another year.
I don't know. I'm thinking we get fired by the end of the year. I wouldn't be worried too much.
Nah, I think we'll be okay. Still going to turn it around. Have faith. Although if we have another bad weekend here, I think I may look for another defenseman. Okay, Ronsberg is healthy again. Try sitting Cesar's out. And yep, backup goalie comes up with another win, 4-2, and Trask gets 3 points. I don't remember. I don't think we were. Yeah, he must have. Yeah, I'm sure he wanted to get asked to get into the playoffs because it's relatively easy to get into the playoffs in this league.
Finishing in 8th? Yeah, I'd say so.
Out of 10, yeah. Well, we're missing it so far, but
he was wanting playoffs, yes.
okay. Gonna go with the backup in back-to-back games and see how he does. Man, narrow 3-2 loss this time. We gave up a lot of shots. How are the new guys doing? Legine, 7 points in 8 games, not too bad. Wegleitner still, he's dropped off a little bit. I think I need to try for another defenseman. Oh, and we somehow dropped back into last place.
So, Jeff, let's be honest in the chat. If you get fired here, are you going to cheat and just take the job back over? Or are you going to roll the dice and see what happens?
I think we'll try something else if we get fired, but we're not getting fired.
We're getting fired.
Okay, I want a defenseman. Got to be somebody kicking around the senior leagues or
For those of you in the chat
low
right
end of
now,
Europe. Leave it alone.
over under, Jeff gets fired by the end of the year.
Thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No.
Okay, so quite a few 3-star guys. Oh, did I forgot to mark the signable thing? So I was wondering why I was getting all these good prospects in the list. That would be why. Okay, Chris Summers, former AHL defenseman, and played in the NHL too a little bit, didn't he? Yeah,
Chris
Phoenix.
Summers?
Yeah, a handful of games for Phoenix / Arizona and the Rangers. So maybe he's still got a little left. Oh, we got to dump somebody before we can sign him. So that's going to be Love, I think.
Oh, former first round pick, Jeff. Apparently, he's actually playing in the Dell right now.
Yeah, I saw some German games in his history. There we go, Summers.
Oh, here we go. He was traded.
Oh, and he doesn't want to play for us. So I'm going to have to take the ability thing down another notch.
He was traded for Keith Yandel. Or along with Keith Yandel, sorry.
Kind of a lopsided deal.
Him and Keith Yandel and a 4th round pick for John Moore, Anthony DeClaire, 2 draft picks, a 1st and a 2nd. I don't know. That's not actually wasn't too bad either way.
Okay, Jack Hanley, former Ontario League guy who's playing in Canadian college hockey now, wants a little bit above the minimum, but I think we can afford that.
Okay, let's look at this for a second. So he was the 2nd last draft pick in the 2006 draft. Guys who went after him include Milan Lucic, Andre Fiala, Jeff Petrie, Jonas Enroth, Steve Mason, Brad Marchand went after him. Oops.
All right. You hit another lineup shuffle, and I think I'm done with that. See if we can get us out of last place before the end of the stream.
Not going to happen. Goaltender James Reimer went later in him in that draft. Richard Backman. Chad Johnson.
We're actually doing better on the road than we are at home.
Victor Stahlberg. Actually, going through this draft, it has not been very pretty for the players taken
Which year
in the
was
2006 draft.
No, 2006.
2006. Leo Komarov went 180. Round 7. Derek Dorsett.
And a 4-2 win over Fayetteville.
Might be the only noticeable name. Arthur's Coolda. Another one. Former Winnipeg Jet. And Will O'Neill, former Winnipeg Jet.
And we are, well, we're sort of out of last place. We're tied for last place.
Yeah, okay. The 2006 draft was not very strong.
And talking about Roanoke earlier, we got them tonight and managed to get them into overtime at least. I think they're one of the better teams in the league, so at least it's a point. Might get us clear into 9th place.
Okay, so here's the first round. Or do you remember who the first round pick in 2006 was, Jeff?
6, not offhand.
And this is still one of the worst first picks of who they could have had. They took Eric Johnson first overall.
Yeah, I mean, he at least played a little bit, but
He's still playing, is he?
and with the backup in, we get a 5-2 win over Roanoke. Keep calling the backup. I think he's a starter now.
But I said they could have had Jonathan Taves, but he went 3rd overall. Jordan Stahl went 2nd, Backstrom 4th, Kessel 5th, Broussard 6th, Apostko 7th. Then there was
we're actually in 7th place. Well, tied for 6th theoretically.
Bust Peter Mueller was 8th.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy washed out.
Bust James Shepard was 9th. Michael Froelich was 10th. Jonathan Bernier was 11th.
So he really falls off after the top 5 or so.
Brian Little was 12th, so that's not terrible. Yuri Talusti was 13th. Boom. Michael Grabner was 14th. Here's a name you would, of course, never forget. Riku Helenius. First round pick by Tampa. Goaltender.
That's why you don't pick goalies in the first round. 5-2 loss to Peoria. And try to get this one weekend finished up. Whoops.
Solid. Ty Weishart. Draft bust. Well, Trevor Lewis was drafted 17th. I would call him a bust. But I think he's pretty much out of the league now, is he not? No, never mind. He's still in. I'm sorry. Remember. I was looking at the next guy. Chris Stewart finally back in the NHL after being over in England.
Yeah, that's kind of a jump in leagues there.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. 19th overall bust. Mark Matera. Number 20 overall was David Fisher. I'd say that's a bit of a bust. Number 21, again, another bust. Bobby Sanguinetti,
Rangers, yeah.
Sanguinetti, yeah. And then 22, you got good again. You got Claude Giroux, 22nd. Oops, a few teams would probably like to redo that. Semyon Varlamov was 23. And then we have disappointment in Dennis Persson, defenseman. Patrick Berglund was 25th overall, so again, not the worst pick, but hasn't really worked out. Another goaltender. This is why goaltenders hardly go in the first round anymore. Leland Irving. And then we have, here's a name you haven't heard for a little bit. Ivan Wisniewski on 27th. Rounding it out, 28th overall was Nick Foglino. Man, why can I not say this name? Nick
Foligno.
Yes, sorry. All I kept thinking in my head was Fogliano, and I know that wasn't right. It was just not coming to me. And then, of course, Summers was 29th. 30th overall was, of course, well-known man, Matt Cornetti. Which I'm, slightly saying not known at all because he never really made it to NHL. Although a favorite phrase of Jeff was, he had a cup of coffee. He had 34 games in the NHL.
And I think we're going to wind it up here. We've got, technically we're, we are in a playoff spot. We were tied for last place, but also tied for 8th. Till we got that one win last night over Pensacola, but now, as of now, we are in the playoffs narrowly, 29 points, 2 points ahead of the other two, but we're also relatively close. You can see to the only 2 points separating us in 5th, so I think our comeback is underway now.
Sure. I'll try to believe.
And players are, Timofeyev continuing to score, although he's still only 1.5 stars. Wegleitner doing okay. We need to find another, or at least one right wing that can actually score. Although Legain's free agent signing has 16 points in 18 games, so he's kind of filled that slot. That's okay. And defenseman, how's the new guy? Hanley's only got 1 point in 6 games. Pulio only has a single point, although he's not really an offensive defenseman in 20 games. And just sorting by game rating. Pirog, the guy who was hurt for a while and has been sort of our second line center, but not getting enough ice, not as much ice time, is actually a higher average game rating than Trask, our best player. And Hanley, the new guy, is doing okay. So, seeing some of our free agents up near the top. So maybe they are working out a little better than I thought. But I think we can wrap it up there, Adam, and come back this in a couple of weeks, and I'll see if I can get this going, figure out what I'm doing wrong with the Steam stream so we can get done there as well.
Sounds good. All right. So thank you very much for tuning into another franchise stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments, which is maybe where you're watching this right now. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/franchise hockey manager, On Twitter, we are at Franchise Hockey. We can also find a link to our official Discord in our Twitter bio, or you can come on down to our official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner and come talk to us about anything you want, including Franchise Hockey Manager 6. Out of the Park Baseball 20, which had a recent off-season price drop down to $19.99. And, of course, Perfect Team or anything else. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. We did do a hotfix update earlier in the week, so if you haven't picked that up, you may want to. Just fixed one. The only thing, the major problem there was the previous update had broken the FHM5 save import, so there are a couple of smaller changes with it, but that is the key one. So if you're wanting to import saves from the previous version, you will want to get that get your game updated first. But I think we're done here. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you guys back next week with Adam's game, and then back to this the Huntsville game a couple of weeks from now.